morning. Odeleke Mufipula reporting for Wisdom Yard Television. Federal government to demolish Lagos Airport jets hangars. Account freeze, Abia Finance Commissioner resigns. NGX suspends trading in sterling bank shares. I will bow out as a fulfilled man, says Wike. Barring any last-minute change of heart, the federal government will in the next 1 or 2 weeks begin the demolition of multi-billion naira private jet hangars located at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. The federal government said the hangars were obstructing the efficient use of the international wing airport and there was need to demolish them to pave the way for the expansion of the new international terminal built with Chinese loans at the Lagos airport. The Minister of Aviation, Senator Adi Sirika, who made the government's plan known while unveiling 10 new fire tenders, said at the Lagos airport the expansion of the new international terminal in Lagos would commence soon. He said those two hangars, Dominion and Evergreen, they will have to go and give way for our airport to be more efficient. We are not operating the Lagos airport at full capacity, and it is household knowledge now. We have some obstructions that will be removed within the next 1 or 2 weeks so that we can expand the apron so that Lagos can have the full airport in its full use to 100%. And they can't see them in public interest, and we will certainly ship them somewhere it has to go. We cannot deny this city, Lagos, and the country in general from the use of their airports. According to the minister, the government agencies have been directed to come up with a document that will make the aviation industry more efficient, adding that this paper would form part of his handover notes. Dominion Hangar is reportedly owned by the senior pastor of Living Faith World Outreach, Winners Chapel Bishop David Oyedepo, while a former Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Dr. Harold Dumurrain, is rumored to have a stake in Evergreen Apple. Following the opening of the Chinese-built new international terminal last year in March, international and foreign airlines with jumbo planes could not move to the facility due to its small apron size. The development has hampered the efficient use of the facility, said to be worth $300 million. In a bid to expand the apron site and guarantee optimum use of the facility, the government said some structures obstructing the expansion of the apron sites will be removed. Last year, the federal government demolished the headquarters of the AIB located behind the new terminal. However, the government could not reportedly demolish other structures, especially the private jet hangars owned by private entities due to legislation concerns. There were reports that the government may pay about 5 billion naira in compensation if it will have to demolish the hangars and other buildings located behind the new MMIA terminal. It is unclear whether there is legislation on the matter or whether the federal government and the owners of the hangar have entered an agreement on the issue. An official of Evergreen Apple could not immediately comment when reached for a reaction. Also, Dominion Hangar could not be reached for comment as of the time of filing this report. The Assistant General Secretary Aviation Safety and Roundtable Initiative, Mr. Olumide Owanyo, while reacting to the development, said it is surprising that these actions have been taken after the election when they should have taken about 4 or 5 years ago. The terminal has been sitting there for about 4 to 5 years. It is about 2 months to the end of the administration. I feel we should have waited for the new administration on this. The government has to pay heavy compensation for this if it will go ahead to do it because people have gone to banks to take loans to do these projects. The Abia State Commissioner for Finance, Dr. Uko, has confirmed his resignation from the cabinet of Governor Okezi Ikpeazu. He confirmed his resignation by simply saying, yes, it is true, without giving any explanation on why he resigned from his position in the administration. However, sources close to the government house, Umaya, said Dr. Uko resigned as commissioner about a month ago, but government house decided to keep it a secret until the elections are over. Sources said Uko attended his resignation letter to the Abia State Governor Okezi Ikpeazu some weeks ago and was duly acknowledged by the Secretary to the State Government SSG, Chris Ezim. But when contacted, the Secretary to the State Government, Chris Ezim, simply said, I don't know anything about that. I don't know where you people got that from. The sources had disclosed that the Abia Finance Commissioner resigned on personal grounds according to his resignation letter dated February 7, 2023, which was addressed to His Excellency Governor Okezi Ikpeazu. The source further revealed that the official announcement is expected this week, stating that Uko may have decided to quit the appointment to continue with his private business, which has come near stagnation since he took up the appointment several years ago, and has offered to render any services that might be required of him by the Governor Ikpeazu-led administration following his resignation on pro bono basis. Dr. Uko, who assumed the leadership of the ministry in 2019 after Ikpeazu's re-election, is said to have insisted on the payment of pensioners and salaries. According to the sources, this had often pitched him against other relevant state financial authorities who would always tell the elderly statesman there is no money, while many at times who co-advised on salary payments were discarded. He had never been happy about the unpaid backlog of salaries, the source maintained. Last week, a federal high court sitting in Abuja ordered the freezing of all accounts of the Abia State government domiciled in about 27 commercial banks. Report Justice Bello Kawu gave the Ottawa ruling on a motion ex parte motion marked M66862023 filed by one Mr. Uche Eni against the Accountant General of Abia State and the Commissioner of Finance. In its ruling on the motion, the court was said to have further barred all the banks from cooperating with the financial aids of Governor Okezi Ikpeazu pending the determination of the motion on notice. Trading in the shares of Sterling Bank has been suspended on the floor of the Nigerian Exchange Limited. The suspension took effect on Thursday, according to a notice issued by the NGX in its weekly report of activities. The suspension was in preparation for a restructuring of the bank. The report stated the suspension is necessary to prevent trading in the shares of the bank in preparation for the scheme of arrangement between the bank and the holders of its fully paid ordinary shares of 50 kobo each for restructuring of the bank. The suspension is required to determine the shareholders who will qualify for the scheme. Meanwhile, the bank had requested an extension in the deadline for the filing of its annual financial statement for the year ended 31st of December 2022. The company secretary and chief legal officer Temitayo Adegoke, in a notice to the NGX, said that it was working with its auditors to finalize the AFS by the revised deadline of 30th of April 2023. She emphasized that the bank's commitment to regulatory compliance and transparency remained its top priority. The letter to the Nigerian board stated that in continuing compliance with the post-listing requirements of the NGX, the previously announced closed period, which commenced on 1st of January 2023, will continue until 24 hours after the AFS for the year ended 31st of December 2022 is released on the floor of the exchange. Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State says he will bow out of office on May 29 as a fulfilled man, having positively impacted the 23 local government areas of the state. The governor charged the incoming administration on stewardship. Wike made the statement during a Thanksgiving service organized by the chapter of the People's Democratic Party in the state on Sunday at All Saints Anglican Church, Rumoro, Kurusi, Obio, Akwa local government area of the state. Wike said that only a blind man or an enemy of the state will refuse to admit the extent of spread of equitable infrastructure across the country. If your politics is not about the interest of the people, then you have a problem. The electorate are now wiser. You must be ready to present a full report card to your people by 2027 if you must continue in politics. The governor also attributed the party's victory at the polls to evidential impact in the area of good governance and gender balance. He said that there were females serving as vice chairman in 23 local government areas with not less than 5 female ward councils in each area, and also a handful of female senators and members-elect. The governor urged the governor-elect Simi Liayi Fubara and his team not to be distracted by the opposition bent on dragging them at the tribunal. Earlier, the program's host and bishop in charge of the Cathedral, Innocent Ordu, noted that the Nigeria needed political office holders who were problem solvers, not excuse givers. Reading from the book of James chapter 4 verse 8, he urged the incoming administration to always seek God's guidance in their quest for wisdom to deliver good governance to the people of the state. We need performers and we need game changers like the outgoing governor Nyesom Wike, who is indeed a game changer. To achieve good governance, particularly in Rivers, Mr. Governor-elect, I urge you to assemble a very strong team by all standards, is competent and capable, a team of passionate individuals who love the state more than they love their pockets. A good leader would always surround himself with a good team of honest, courageous, God-fearing men and women of integrity to deliver on their assigned tasks, he said. The headlines again. Federal government to demolish Lagos airport jets hangars. Account freeze, Abia Finance Commissioner resigns. NGX suspends trading in Sterling Bank shares. I will bow out as a fulfilled man, says Wike. Thank you for staying tuned. I am Odeleke Mofin Folua.